Hello all, welcome to Institute for Leadership and Strategic Management Africa. We'll be today's session will be on passing a job interview, or the skill for passing a job interview. The most important thing when you're applying for a job is to make sure you have a very attractive and a very good CV or resume. Our next session will discuss on we'll teach you how to write a CV, curriculum vitae, or resume. Now, the most important thing is to get a very attractive resume or CV. It is just like when three beautiful ladies are passing, guys will call the most beautiful one. A job search is competitive. Therefore, when you apply for a job, it is your CV that will determine whether you'll be called or not. Once you have an attractive CV, you'll be called for interview. And the moment you are called for an interview, it means there is a likelihood or possibility that you qualify for the job position. Now, once you are called for an interview, make sure you keep the number that called you. The number that called you. Write it on a piece of paper. Put it in your bag, your wallet, your suit, your pocket. Write it somewhere that when your phone is stolen or your phone goes off, you wouldn't have issues with directions. Give the number out to somebody you can call for reference in case something happens and you cannot find or you cannot locate the interview venue. Now, once you are called for an interview, there are certain steps you must be familiar with. Step number 1, preparation. The moment you are called for an interview, hey, Mr. Blah blah blah, you are calling from this company, and you have to come for an interview on this day, this time, at this place. The first step you bear in mind is preparation. Take all relevant academic documents, that is original certificates, testimonials, as well as photocopies. Make sure you run copies of those documents. Don't have less than 5 of those copies, and then staple it. You do not know the number of people who will be interviewing you. Someone went for an interview and he got there, they couldn't get his documents. Quickly he pulled out 5 of his documents and he gave it out to the team. Now, once you are fully prepared, you have your documents, everything, no room for excuse. Get all your documents as well as photocopies of each of the documents. Now, under the same preparation, get all relevant information relating to your would-be employer. You can pay a visit to the organization to be sure of the route or way to the venue of the interview. You can also log on to the internet to get enough information about the organization in terms of their products they deal in, the customer base, pay or remuneration, and any other general information relating to the position you have applied for. That is preparation. Prepare. Get every relevant information that is required for the position. Step number 2. After you are fully prepared, step number 2, appearance or dress code. Put on your best show in terms of what you wear, for first impressions last for forever. You may not have the second chance to correct the impression you created earlier. Okay, if you're a man, iron your shirt, tie well, let your shoe color match with your belt. Okay, now if it is black shoe, put on black belt. Brown shoe, brown belt. Put on, your shirt must be plain or stripes, only vertical, or horizontal only, no check. It's advisable you put on a plain shirt like white or sea blue, black trouser, black belt, black shoe. Those of you who had your national service in the rural places, your kind of dressing is very poor. You put on red shoe, brown belt or indigo belt with some shades and some hat. There's a formal thing. You are looking for a job, formal. Okay, now make sure your shoe matches with your belt. Do not dress as if you are going for some picnic somewhere. Look formal. Never say the interview is on a Saturday, so you are putting on African wear. Interview is interview and it's an official thing. Make sure you put on your suit, you put on something decent. If you don't have a suit, you can't afford a suit, go and borrow from a friend. Get a suit that will fit you, that will make you look smart. Do not put on suit with 18 buttons as if you are going to deliver witches or some wizards from some park, prayer camp. Put on a decent suit. If you don't have it, take it from a friend. Get a colleague's suit and look very smart. Now, the position you have applied for determine the kind of attire you put on. If it is a carpentry job, do not put on suit. Okay, put on your overall, or some engineering job, you put on your helmet, your gloves, you dress decent with your overall on it. You dress to suit the position. Don't go and put on an expensive suit while you are applying for a carpentry position. Okay. Now, if it's an HR or marketing job or diplomatic, the job is very diplomatic. You look very smart and decent. Now, the women who dress to entice people or the interviewers, be very careful. This thing does not match. It doesn't count. It doesn't add value to what you are doing. You only be failed. Some of you who dress to thinking your kind of dress will influence the interviewer. You show your chest, bare chested, bare back, all these funny things, it will only disqualify you. Now, after preparation, our next step is arrival. Make sure you get to the venue of the interview before the scheduled time. Arrival. Point number 3. Make sure you get to the venue of the interview before the scheduled time. This should be at least 30 minutes. Avoid lateness, as this is considered when decisions are being made. In a situation where they do not know whether they should give it to interviewee A or interviewee B, then they consider areas like who came first. Now, as the receptionist, if there is any formality that you must go through, be very polite in all your approaches. You may address the receptionist as sir or madam. Now, sometimes your presence or the purpose for which you attend the interview is necessarily not because of the job. You may go for an interview and you meet your life partner, you meet a business partner, you meet your spouse or something there. So be very polite in all your approaches. Okay, I quite remember when I was in the industry practicing as human resource manager somewhere. Anytime people come for interview, I deliberately put on my jeans and I sit in their midst just to observe how they behave. Some of them, when they come for interview, you'll be seeing them chuckling, watching their watch, looking at the time. If you don't have time for the interview, how can you make time for the job? We observe all these things and it has influence or can affect whether you get a job or not. Okay, so make sure you are very polite in all your approaches. Now, the next step is now you are there. Point number 4. Now you are there. You are there means you have been invited. Next, come in, greet the panelists and wait for them to ask you to have a seat. Do not stress yourself up, but be relaxed and be ready to answer any question that is thrown at you. Now, before you enter the interview room, bear in mind these things. 1, it is either he gives you the job or he takes his job. It is God who takes care of a man. It is either he gives you the job or he takes his job. Do not sleep with anybody before he gives you the job, especially our sisters. Stop sleeping with interviewers or people or employers before they give you the job. The moment you sleep with an employer, everybody will get to know and you lose your respect and your reputation at the workplace. Accountant sleeps with you, you go and tell auditor that the girl is cheap. Auditor will come and sleep with you. Now, if you want to sleep with men, then sleep with all the entire male workers at the workplace. Don't sleep with anybody, or what I mean is do not have sex with anybody before you are employed. It will affect you in the long run. Okay, now it's either he gives you the job or he takes his job. Bear in mind that the person who is about to interview you, he or she was interviewed few years ago or few days ago. He had a job and is interviewing you today. It's the same way you can get a job today and interview somebody tomorrow. Do not fear anybody. Do not fear anybody. Okay, do not fear anybody. Do you get it? Do not fear anybody. Now, at the interview room, 3, bear in mind or note this. You have to provide suitable answers, not best answers. You have to provide suitable answers and not best answers. I'll explain as we move on. Now that you are there, give the panelists and then ask them to have a seat. If they do not ask you to have a seat, you are not a military man, you are a civilian. Be bold and then tell them, may I have a seat? You can request for water. If the air condition is so high, you can ask them to reduce your tense. When you are tensed, you can ask them to put it off. You can request for water. I mean, feel free. Okay. When you get seated, avoid all sorts of mannerisms, such as cracking of the knuckles, pulling of the chin, flipping papers. Some of you, the moment you sit down, then you are misbehaving. Okay, please sit. You sit, and then a woman who has not done the hair for months, in the interview, now that the person will be hitting the head, itches. Some of you use some cologne or spray, okay, cologne so hard that it will even trigger, or it may even trigger somebody's asthma. You understand? Some of you don't brush your teeth. Bad odor. And then together with the air condition, you mess up the whole place. When we are interviewing, these are the reality on the grounds. These are things we see. And it's not a joke. I know what I'm talking about. Okay? Some of you, the moment you sit there, you forget you're in the interview. You are turning the chair around as if you're the one who bought the chair. Okay? If you even get a chance, you put your legs on the desk. Now that you are seated, avoid all sorts of mannerisms, such as cracking of the knuckles, pulling of the chin, scratching your hair, scratching your armpit. Giving out bad air. You know what I mean? You give out bad air. We know all these things. Now, note that when you follow these things, I'm telling you, you have 100% chance of getting the job. Go for it. Answering questions. Now that you are there, questions may come in any form or shape. It is up to you to give suitable answers, not best answers. I'll give a few questions and then you know the difference. If you want to know more about interview questions, you request for my book on answering the 32 possible interview questions. Now that you are there, answer questions clearly. Be straight to the point. Choose your words carefully and say what you want to say in plain English. Avoid over elaboration. They ask you a simple question. Where do you live? Oh, I live at Tema in Accra, but you see, my uncle's brother's niece is at Otoo. So sometimes I go to Otoo. Avoid all these things. Go straight to the point. Where do you live? Tema. But have a place around the workplace. This is a suitable answer. Now, avoid all sorts of mannerisms, over elaboration. Give factual and verifiable information in response to any question that is thrown at you. Caution, do not speak slangs. This is Africa. You are a Ghanaian. You are an African. Stop speaking slangs. Anybody who speaks slangs people who speak slangs may end up coming out with abusive words. For instance, so why are you here? You know, why you ask, the moment you begin to slang, this is what you're going to say. Mama got to look for a job, and Mama got to get the hell out of here. You are looking for a job and you're telling the employer, Mama got to get the hell out of here. Why are you slanging? Kofi Annan was an American citizen. He worked there. He married a white lady. He lived there for years. He speaks like a typical Ghanaian. So avoid all sort of mannerisms. The moment avoid all sort of slangs. The moment you speak slangs, there's the likelihood that you go off. Mama got to get the hell out of here. There's a whole damn bullshit. You are telling your employer there's a whole damn bullshit. Well, that is how slang is all about. Okay, use your accent, the local accent. You remove your English words one by one, step by step. Let that local employer understand what you are saying. Don't go and slang and end up coming out with technical jargons, big words, or even end up insulting. Now, give suitable answers. Give suitable answers, not best answers. Okay? Bear in mind that the one who is interviewing you was interviewed a few days ago and he's had the chance to interview you. It's the same way you get a job and you interview somebody tomorrow. Okay? Know that it's either he gives you the job or he takes the job. Do not sleep with him. Do not sleep with him or her. Usually, it's the men who do that. I once employed a chemist in one organization, and after she took her salary, she came and gave me 10 singlets. She gave me 10 singlets, and I asked her what's the purpose of this. She said everywhere she went for an interview, she met aged people who wanted to sleep with her, and I happened to be the most youngest HR she has ever come across, and just the next day she was called to come for her appointment letter. So it's a sign of appreciation. And I quickly asked her, so were you expecting me to sleep with you? HR practitioners, professionals, or job interviewers have been employed to employ you. Sleeping with you is not a requirement. Okay, sleeping with you before they give you the job is never a requirement. So make sure you do not sleep with anybody. Now, questions may come in any form or shape. Some of the questions are just to test your pulse, to test your anger level. Okay, they want to see. They ask you questions just to assess you. Have patience and answer. Provide suitable answers. For instance, the first question usually they ask is, why are you here? The best answer is, somebody asked us. We asked a job seeker, why are you here? He said, who is Eben? Who is Eben? He said, I am Eben. Are you not the one who called me that to come for an interview? That's the best answer. But you see, it's abusive. Now, don't use high tonation. Now, suitable answer. I applied for the position of marketer and I've been called for an interview. That's why I'm here this morning. Simple. They may ask you, tell us about yourself. Best answer. Kindly make reference to my resume. Every information is on the CV. But you are not to provide best answers. You have to provide suitable answers. Suitable answer is tell us about yourself. Suitable answer is you mention your name, you mention your age, you mention your name, you mention your age, you mention your name, you mention your age, you mention your where you stay, your location, your family status, marital status, whether you are currently working or you are not working. Tell us about yourself. You mention your name, your age, work status, whether you are working or not, your marital status, whether you have children or not, and then where your location, where you live. Okay, if where you live is far from the company, tell them you are willing to relocate. It's a suitable answer. Now, they may also ask you what leadership style should your immediate boss possess before you can work with him. The moment you ask job seekers what leadership style must their employers possess before they can work with them, they keep giving you answers. Democratic leader. You ask him why? Because you allow you to contribute. You allow him to contribute. Do you even know the leader you are going to work with? You don't know. Since you do not know the caliber of leader the leadership style you are going to work with, why should you give a particular leadership style? That is the best answer. The suitable answer is, I'm capable of working with any leader because I understand team building, I understand interpersonal skills, I understand time management, and we are the workplace to fight against the situation, not against rivals. Never mention any type of leadership style. You can work with anybody. The moment you say you can work with a democratic leader, it means when that leader happens to be an autocratic leader, you cannot work with him. You have disqualified yourself. Okay. As I said, if you want to understand better how to answer possible interview questions, then you must have my book on answering the 32 possible interview questions. Okay. Now, questions may come in any form or shape. Most important thing is provide suitable answers, not best answers. Now, when it comes to salary is one important area we cannot overlook. When asked about salary, how much do you think we should pay you? When such an opportunity is given, you have to be very tactful. No